Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the heart of night, we rise from shadows, howling at the moon, igniting our battles, cleansing dire of an endless fight, until our final days we will fight. Thanks, man, we stand united as one. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us by the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Everywhere we run, the wind is at our back. All the warring forces we will track. From the depths of the ocean to the clouds in the sky, vampires tremble as we learn to fight. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Evil spirits lurking with horror and dread. Little light leads us where the brave dare tread. Glory and honor, wisdom in our hand. Together we rise, take our final stand. Rage across Tampa, in this fight we'll stay. Everywhere with the pack, let the night be our guide. In battles of honor, we shall never hide. We'll never hide.
Good evening and welcome back to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network, where we play St. Petersburg by Night, a massive multiplayer 5th edition World of Darkness Chronicle set in the city of St. Petersburg, Florida. My name is Kent, also known as Kent on all social media. I am the lead storyteller of St. Pete by Night, and it's Tuesday night, so you know what that means. It's time for Rage Across Tampa, our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition Chronicle set just across the bay in Tampa, Florida, featuring our pack of Guru who have been trying desperately, biting, scratching, clawing, pun intended, to retake the city of Tampa from the Tampa Camarilla. And they have been doing a pretty good job, if I do say so myself, of retaking that city. Although it has taken quite a bit of sacrifice to get there. And tonight, they're going to have to make one more sacrifice along the way in order to appease the storm that has been causing them quite a bit of problems as of late from the bay. But we'll be getting to that shortly. If you're a fan of the World of Darkness, if you're a fan of all things St. Pete by Night, you should go follow us on all of that social media you see listed down below. And if you want to get involved in the World of Darkness, you should come join us on our Discord server. You can join us by just following that link you see down below. You can become part of our community. You can get involved in all of the one-shots we offer on a regular basis, or maybe you'll find yourself at one of our tables, or if nothing else, you can at least join our community and chat it up with one of the many, many members of our community, and maybe find yourself in a game. Maybe find yourself on a stream yourself, or maybe on one of our many, many games that we have running pretty much 7 days a week. So come join us in the St. Pete by Night community. We would love, love, love to have you. Now, of course, I couldn't do this myself, because if I did, it'd be boring and I'd just be yelling at you like I do on Saturday nights most weeks. Instead, I have an amazing cast of characters that join me on this epic journey on Tuesday nights. So let's introduce them now. Players, say hello and introduce yourselves, if you please.
Hey everybody, my name's Preston. I play Aiden Goodspeed, the Arun of the Galestalkers.
Hi, everybody. I'm Champagne, Captain Tight Pants, whatever you want to call me, and I'll be playing Aspen Weiss, Philodox of the Silverfangs.
Hi everybody, I'm Nori, and I will be playing Malicious Jester, the Galliard of the Black Furies.
Hey everybody, I'm Walks, and I will be playing Lucas Shaw, the Ragabash of the Shadow Lords.
Goramit, champ. I just think that intro was shiny. Anyway, last week, some long-standing business was finally put to an end. A loose thread was finally taken care of when Jester, who had been struggling with what to do with her ex-boyfriend Leon, a ghoul of the Tampa Camarilla, finally decided to put an end to the problem when she executed Leon. Charles was there to bear witness, and after having done so, Charles made contact with Aspen to inform her that the deed was done and that it was settled. Aspen, meanwhile, has had to kind of decide what to do about the storm and what the sacrifice was going to be, because the storm mandated that in order to return to good graces with the guru of the area, there had to be a sacrifice of the Weaver. And after a conversation with Matthias, her mentor from out west, Matthias put into her head that yes, there were many possibilities of sacrifice. Yes, the idea that they could sacrifice the cairn they had worked so hard to build this past year was a possibility. Maybe it wasn't necessarily the best choice. There were other options. Aspen had informed Matthias that they did have another possible cairn that they could retreat to, but it was a cairn that was presented by the Stargazer Eliza Ross. This unsettled Matthias, and Matthias informed her of his concerns and made it known why the Stargazers weren't necessarily trusted by the greater nation, and informed her why they were distrusted. This maybe put a little bit of doubt in her head, doubt that maybe she might have to confront Eliza about, or at least gain some information on. Another idea was put forward about possibly the clave Jester carries, a legacy piece, something that is representative of the old cairn, the old sept, the area itself, something that was carried by the former sept leaders that led the area for a good long while, something of the Weaver. So now Aspen and the rest of the pack have to decide what to present to the storm, because the clock that's been ticking for the past month is about to run out, and the storm will demand its sacrifice, because the storm season is about to come to an end. And if the storm isn't satisfied, it will bring a righteous fury. Maybe not this season, but most certainly next season. And that is just another stop clock that will just start. Lucas, meanwhile, proposed a plan to Aspen, while Charles and Matthias seem to be working on the upper class of securing the city and planning for the downfall of the Tampa Cam. What's to be done about the underground? So he proposed a plan to manage the downfall and the aftershock of the fall of the Camarilla by putting into motion some plans to secure the underground. He looked to enlist the assistance of Jester and Aiden, and Artie, and perhaps the biker gang that Ryder once was in command of. With these assistants, he could perhaps start gaining a foothold within the underground and seeing what other adversaries or allies could be gained along the way to help secure the underground and help disrupt whatever kindred activity was going on in the underground, to help unsettle the Tampa Camarilla and help assist in their downfall, but to also make sure that all the eggs aren't in the Silver Fang basket, that all the eggs aren't in the basket of the nation out west, that Aspen could still maintain control of the situation, and that Matthias wasn't slowly and methodically taking control of the area for himself. Always trust a Shadow Lord to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and eyes on all of the prize, not just part of it. Aiden, meanwhile, has his own sacrifice lingering on his mind, not to the storm, but to the final fight that lies ahead on the hunt for Bloody Mary, because he was given a bit of a prophecy from the White Wolf. You or her. When the final fight comes, one of you will fall. Now, it was never made clear what her would fall, but it was going to be one, most certainly. And while Aiden was told he would know when the right sacrifice would be made, and sometimes it was another's time to fall, he has a doubt in his head that it isn't his time, and that he has to make that sacrifice. So he started to make preparations to make that sacrifice in his mind, and in doing so, knows that he has to be ready to pass on the responsibility of a rune of the sept to someone else, and what to do if that time comes. So in tonight's story, he starts to make those preparations. But tonight's story will begin at a biker bar on the east side of Tampa. Here we find Lucas and Artie pulling up into the gravel driveway where they were told they would meet Jester outside of the biker bar. It's a long, rectangular, black painted building, windowless, boarded over, completely painted black. Loud thumping music can be heard inside, almost making the plywood coverings over the windows shake. Loud voices can be heard talking inside, and a line of motorcycles of various makes and models line the edge of the parking lot in the gravel itself. A few of the bikers can be seen kind of loitering outside, congregating, talking amongst themselves, smoking. Artie looks over to Lucas from behind the steering wheel of Regina, the trusty Jeep. I have never enjoyed coming here. You know that, right?
I mean, have you seen me here a lot? This whole the machismo thing, it's not me.
I didn't have to come here when Ryder ran the place.
Yeah, it sucks that I never got to meet him. You guys talk about him pretty highly and lowly at the same time, which is confusing every time you guys bring him up.
You say sucks, I say it's a blessing in disguise.
Fair. And you're good with this.
If it's gonna help, I agree with you. I'm not a fan of putting all the eggs in one basket. Help is help, and Aspen seems to trust Matthias, and that's all well and good. We need to take the help we can get. There's no nation to speak of in this area, and there hasn't been. As long as I've been Guru, there's never been help. I had to figure all of this out for myself for almost a decade now. Down here, I was the only Guru presence in my mind, except for Eliza, who was deep in depressive bullshit, and Ryder, who was off his rocker, pissed off. So any help is help, but we have to be wary of whatever help we get, because the Fenris people were also offering help.
Yeah, no way. Okay. Well, I mean, ideally for you, I just want, like, God, how do I sound this without sounding insulting? Tech support? Like the guy in the chair, in the
Yeah,
thick of
guy
the
in the van,
shit.
I get it. I know.
Yeah, I don't want you in the thick of the shit. I don't think that's where you want to be either.
I will be wherever I need to be. I'm not going to let you or Jester get in trouble or get hurt. I'm still a guru. I still have fangs and claws, and I still know how to use them. Just because it's not my go-to doesn't mean I don't know how, and doesn't mean I won't if it doesn't call for it.
I mean, wouldn't it be hilarious if like some cartel guys like snatched you up thinking that they were gonna like get some stuff out of you and like threw you in the back of the car and you just went full fangs and scary on them?
Well, that's why I don't
God.
usually let them know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's a secret
I'm just
weapon.
saying. Yeah. For you, you have like the best ace in the hole. All right, let's get let's get Jester filled in on this.
Yeah. Well, we just go in there. They know us. Well, they might not know you too well, but they know me. Jester should be inside. Should be fine. Just walk past them. They're gonna give you looks. They always do.
It's totally normal for me. All right, let's head in.
You might actually just pass for one of them. He climbs out of the driver's seat, starts walking across the gravel parking lot. And as you walk in through the front doors, a cloud of smoke kind of permeates through the front door. Even though there's bikers outside smoking, it doesn't deter anyone from smoking indoors, as the loud music kind of rolls out through the front door. Perhaps tones of AC/DC or Lynyrd Skynyrd. The pounding bass kind of beating off your chest. But as it takes a moment for your eyes to adjust to the dark, pitched room, the halogen lights of the signs up on the wall, you look through the sea of bikers over towards the bar, where you eventually spot Jester. Jester, if you want to go ahead and describe yourself.
Sure. I am wearing a leather jacket, currently laughing and talking with a group around the bar, smoking a cigar and drinking a beer.
Okay. This is Artie, have you seen her like this before?
Like this?
Yeah.
The cigar's new, the beer is not.
Ugh.
And if what Charles said is true, this is definitely not what I would be expecting in this situation.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. All right, I'll start making my way through the people and heading towards Jester, making sure if she glances over in my direction, I give her a nod and then a nod somewhere else other than the bar.
As I catch sight of them, I'll nod back and quickly put out the cigar and nod to the back room.
Okay, so as you rise from the bar, knowing the way, you make your way down the back hallway past the restrooms towards the back workshop garage area. You open kind of heavy steel service door, kicking it open casually, making your way past the steel cages where all the parts hang, as well as some of the more illicit items that are stored back there. Contraband, as it were. You head over to a large wooden folding table where several folding chairs are placed. You have a seat. Artie follows behind both of you, hanging back just a little bit, bringing up the rear, but seems very cautious as he observes Jester's movements specifically, paying very close attention to the way she's carrying herself.
I'll prop my feet up on the table. So what's up?
Lucas will give her kind of a once over and okay. I got an idea.
Oh,
Yeah. And generally, yes, I know the stigma that comes along when I say those words. It's fine. But just to rough that out, I already ran this idea past Aspen. So
Wait. Artie kind of pipes in before we get to that. Hey, Jess. How's it going?
Yeah. all right.
You doing okay? Haven't seen you since everything.
I've been dealing.
You don't call, you don't write. Kind of thought I'd hear from you after everything.
I'm all right. I'm dealing. Had to happen. Shitty thing. Working through it.
Okay. Well, you know, if you need anything, I'm here.
I know.
Okay, sorry, Lucas. Go ahead.
Is this one as good as your bombing the bridges? Because I love that one.
oh, look, you guys are absolutely awful at negotiation. You never negotiate without a position of power. So if you start extremely high, you force everybody to work their way down. You guys were way down here. I needed you here, so that's what we did.
Hmm.
How the fuck do I know how to blow up a bridge? I stab
I've-
things for a living.
I mean, know some people, but anyways.
We can revisit that one at a later date, killer. So anyway, idea. Let's rewind this. After the incident at the blood bank, I went to go see our buddy Charles, and I checked on him, make sure he's okay. But we had a good conversation, and then I had a conversation with Aspen a while ago, and it dawned on me that I think we're being outmaneuvered. Slowly, methodically, and carefully outmaneuvered. And that
By
doesn't
who?
set. By Aspen's adult supervision.
Figures.
Well, they're buying up property, they're investing in businesses, they're staying on the up and up, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of capital. And with money comes power. And if we set things up correctly, he could have an opportunity to swoop in and just snatch it out from under us.
Things have been pretty suspicious since the suit came in.
Yeah. Charles is a different animal altogether, but I'm going to lump in that category just by association. So I, for one, I want to keep Aspen in control. I trust Aspen. I trust you guys. So we need to come up with something that can counter the very big corporate moves that he is making now. Unless you're holding an MBA somewhere in your back pocket, I'm not. I don't think we could stand toe to toe on that.
No.
Yeah, not a thing. And we can't just kick down his door and beat him up and stab him. Also generally frowned upon. So, I thought about it, and I started thinking when we finally do this thing, when the city finally rolls over on its back and shows us its belly, there are certain enterprises in the city that are going to be left empty. And power loves a vacuum. And I'm talking about the drug dealers, the traffickers, the smugglers, all of that. I don't think you have to know a whole lot about finance to get involved in that world.
See where you're going here. We'll take a sip of my beer. Is that why you wanted to meet here?
It is exactly why I wanted to meet here. So here's what I'm thinking. Is that if your guys can get us a contact, a foot in the door, we start taking people out and taking control. Now, the question we have to ask ourselves, and this is really about the three of us in this room right now, is do we want to prop somebody up or do we want to be directly hands-on?
Always been a hands-on sort of person. But gotta watch who we get involved with our stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in this endeavor, our primary weapon will be fear. We have to make them afraid of us. But also, we can take these organizations and we can make them better. We can have them actually help out the communities that they ingrain themselves into. That's why I want you on board, Jester. I need a Black Fury on this.
You know, it's not just about fear. It's about loyalty too. Camaraderie. Chapter's here for its brothers. You're gonna need to prove that. Need to prove you're there for them.
Another reason why I brought you in. When we branch out to the other groups, we'll see how that plays out. But yes, starting here, letting them know that we are going to take care of them. And those that are loyal to us, we are going to take care of them too.
I like it. Sure, I'm in it.
Okay. So we need to get our piece on the board and find out where the entry into the board is. So do you think they know anything?
Well, I could talk to the chapter, send, maybe get them to get a lay of the land first. See who's working with who. What are they up to?
Okay.
Starting point.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping for. Artie is here for
The computer shit.
the computer shit. Yeah, that I'm just not good at. And also laundering, because we're going to need to feed this money to the pack to make sure that Aspen has the capital to do the things she needs to do.
Okay.
Say we should proceed with caution too. We don't know if what Mary has access to. They said she has control of the police. They said she has people in the underground, that she's got kind of all the bases covered. I mean, she could even have somebody in the gang here. We don't know. Our moves could be watched. If she knew Ryder and had a history with Ryder, then she probably put people in his people. Or at least tried to.
Mm.
I mean, it's what I would do if I were her.
Pragmatically, it's smart.
He
hard to
wasn't
argue with that.
exactly discreet about what he did.
Sometimes.
Guy
Between
blew
you
up an
two.
energy plant. That's not exactly discreet. Rode around on motorcycles as loud as. I mean, you might as well be announcing yourself every time you walk in a room.
Yeah, but it sends a message.
Yeah, oh, no doubt about it. That's whipping your dick out on the table for sure, but I'm just saying, like, that's also saying, come get me, which he wanted, for sure. He was looking for a fight, but also, we have to remember she's not stupid. She wasn't stupid. That's how she got control. That's how she's maintained control. And even with him gone, she probably isn't dumb enough to leave what he had alone. She'd keep eyes on it. Especially knowing that there's other guru around.
Okay, so Jester.
So handle things in-house first.
Yeah. We gotta get the house in order first. Other than sitting people down and putting the bright light on them and grilling them with questions, that's my route. And I don't think they're gonna look kindly on me doing that. So
I got a
what?
few ideas. Let me handle it. We've always had our deal. We always had our problem with moles.
Okay.
I can also do some research of my own. Check financials. See if there's any suddenly wealthy individuals of the gang recently. That's a pretty surefire sign that somebody's on the take.
Yeah.
Any new shiny bikes out there, stuff like that. Yeah. And if you need me to follow anybody to verify things, just let me know.
Okay. That sounds like a good starting point, at least. Cool. We'll start there then. What else? Anything else new, Jester? Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really.
No.
Nah. Unless you want to talk about bikes.
Never been a fan myself, but how's Ryder's bike treating you?
It's good in. Taking good care of her.
Do you name her yet?
Not yet.
I would like to use sense the true form.
Okay.
We at rage 2 or 3.
Oh, you're at 2.
Four successes.
Okay. Sense the true form. Description of that really quick, just to make sure. Okay. The guru is able to smell the true nature of anyone they meet, literally sniffing out an individual's true form and detecting anything that isn't a mundane human. Unless they've met the creature type before, they might not be able to recognize the scent, though. A vulture spirit grants this gift. So, with your wits and wisdom test, what you smell. Jester?
Yes.
Guru?
Okay. Then I guess we get to work. I imagine you want to speak with your boys, huh?
Probably a good idea.
I'll look over at Artie and just kind of make eye contact with him for a second, arch up one of my eyebrows, and then push away to stand up from the table.
Yeah, let's get to work. Oh, quick question before we go. Might be useful later. Where'd that C4 get stashed? You know the C4 we brought back here?
I don't know.
Oh. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. We'll figure it out. We should go looking at some point. All right.
All right.
Artie. Let me know if you need anything, Jess. Seriously.
I'll call you if I need anything.
Please do. He starts walking out, doing a double take over his shoulder back at Jester before heading out through the bar towards the
Follow him out.
driveway. As he gets into the Jeep, he puts his hands on the steering wheel, but before starting the Jeep, kind of stares ahead, kind of gripping the steering wheel tensely for a moment. She's not okay.
Lucas will do like a full turn and face him from the passenger seat. Yeah, that was not okay on a lot of fronts. What was that?
I think I know. And I don't think... I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good either.
I mean, for a second there, I thought an invasion of the body snatchers shit was going on and somebody was pretending to be her. But nope,
You're
it
not
smelled like her.
you're not entirely wrong, but I don't think it's unwelcome. She mentioned a while back that she started hearing Ryder. After she took his clave, after he died, she would be visited by him. And for a while, she started showing signs of him. Motorcycle, jacket. You know, you carry an ancestral weapon. Maybe these things are bound to happen, but I wouldn't know anything about that. I think, lucky you, you just had your first meeting with Ryder. I've only met the guy a handful of times. And based off of the feeling like I wanted to wet myself the entire time I was sitting there with her, I think she's not okay. And I think
No.
he's trying to help her.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I called her killer to her face. I assumed that was going to get a rise out of her, and it didn't get shit. So,
Jester would have never bombed the bridges. Never.
nope.
He would have. In a heartbeat.
Yeah. That makes sense.
We need to be careful about this. I don't think she's gone, but I think she's hurt and hurting. And I think he's trying to protect her. But he is still Ryder. And Ryder is a loose cannon. Always has been, potentially always will be. I don't know.
Do you think she wants this?
What's this?
Him at the wheel?
I don't think she has a say right now. But I think
That's what I was afraid
if
of.
it's Ryder or a Bane or being out of control, I think I'd pick Ryder. I don't think
Yeah.
he's going to try to get her killed.
Would go badly for him. He's in there.
Right. And I think he still wants what's best for her. He sacrificed himself for her.
Yeah, I don't think we can't trust it. This is not the right way to deal with this shit.
No. But she's got to deal with it on her own time, at least for now. But we're going to need her back eventually.
Yeah, we should probably let at least Eliza know about this. Ideally, everybody.
Well, we're supposed to meet up in a couple days to talk about the storm. Maybe that is the time we talk about it, but maybe she'll resolve it before then. So we'll see if she's still ridering it up when that time comes. But if not, hopefully she'll be back by then. Maybe this is just a temporary thing. It's only been a couple days since the whole thing went down. Maybe this is just temporary. I don't want to go raising up flags and getting Aspen all stirred up. She's already got enough on her mind. I don't need Aiden looking for a rematch. The last time he and Ryder came to blows, it didn't end well for Aiden. So let's just maybe ragabash this thing for a little bit and see how it goes at the meeting.
Yeah, I say we let it ride.
Her.
Yeah.
Okay. He holds out a fist for a fist bump.
Let's go get some tacos.
Oh, tacos. Thank God it's Tuesday. And he taps the wheel and the Jeep starts up. He puts it in reverse, pulls out onto the street. We transition now to the woods. Aiden, ever since you're near drowning at the hands of Charles, you've made an effort to train with him. Get to know what it is to be a proper Arun in the eyes of the nation, or at least to get a mutual respect from him. Now, it's been some time since you've been able to spend time together with the storms and everything that's been happening, and with him being on ghoul duty after the assassination attempt. Now that that's been taken care of, you get a chance to meet once again. And so, we find ourselves at one of your clearings for another training session. The luxury sedan parked out by the road. Charles, dressed down for the occasion, not wanting to mess up one of his suits for the purposes of training once again. He comes to meet you in the clearing. Aiden.
Hey, Charles.
It's been a while.
Yeah. How'd the? I didn't really see you during the storms. Obviously, you look like you. I don't know if you're ever good, but you look like you.
I'm well. And yourself?
Uh, doing all right. Fighting a storm is a first. So,
Taking on a greater spirit is no small task.
have you done that?
Yes.
Yeah. They hit harder than I thought. I thought like it was going to be kind of like water hitting rock, but it was like rock on water, and I was the rock getting splashed by water, and it hurt a lot more than I thought it was going to.
They can bring a great deal of force to bear. You must understand they bring all the force of the wild behind their swings, behind whatever they are looking to enact. When they bring all of the power of a storm, wind can destroy even the greatest creations of the Weaver. It tears apart houses, foundations, tears down even the greatest of structures. That is a great deal of power even rock cannot maintain. I once had
Wind.
to fight the power of a tornado.
Dang, where was that?
Kansas.
That's middle-ish, right?
Tornado Alley, yes.
Got it. So, was that just like one, or that I know that sometimes like they like become one.
It was to fulfill the purposes of a rite. But it was the spirit of a tornado.
Did you win?
I'm here, aren't I?
That's all right. That's fair. Well, um, I know that we are gonna train. I have something I want to talk to you about. I don't know if you want to do that before or after you beat me up. Your choice.
Just in case I break your jaw and you'll have to take a few days to regenerate, it's probably best we talk first.
It's stiffening up, but yeah. I just got a couple questions as far as our chat back at Lettuce Lake. You said about being a better rune. I'm curious, what is it that you fight for to make you fight harder? Like what is it that gives you the that that drive? I think it's the term to fight harder.
It's my purpose. It's what I was born to do. It's what I'm on this earth to do. It's what I was created, trained, groomed to do from my birth. It's my birthright. It's my legacy.
There's nothing more to it though. Like as far as I get, it's your purpose and why Gaia brought you in, but there's got to be something more that you fight for. Like the way you fight, it's not it's not just a purpose. I felt those hits. It wasn't just because you were groomed to do it. You're fighting for something. I just want to know what it is.
I've only told one other person this. But you've taken enough of my beatings that I think you deserve an answer. I fight with the hope that one day others won't have to be like me. I fight with the hope that one day they stop making others like me.
So you fight for the end. That you fight for us actually winning?
I fight for the lack of need for soldiers, yes. I fight for the hope that others may live. I know that the war will never end. That is a foolish ambition, but I hope that we at least get to a point that Guru can pursue life for themselves on top of their fight for Gaia. That it isn't about birthright and legacy and purpose. That they can also want for themselves as well as wanting for Gaia and wanting for the spirits.
Do you believe that the pack here is able to do such a thing? Do you think we're able to reach that kind of goal?
I believe some of you try to. I see it, and I admire it. Sometimes I think it's a fool's errand, but I admire it.
You know, Charles, you say that you're brought up into it. I was born a wolf and then went into this life. It's also all I know as far as my human side. But when I was a wolf, I ended up being a lone wolf. I lost my pack. And I always looked to find a pack again. You're one of the best fighters I've ever met in my life, and I've met some good ones. But no one can make me bleed like you can. But you almost separate yourself, and I don't know why. The pack is the strength part of it, but you don't. I don't know how to say it. You just remove yourself almost. Why not try and become closer to it?
In my line of work, it's temporary. I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. I don't know where my duty will take me. Where my uncle tells me to go, I will go. He may ask me to move across the country, across the world. In the purpose of my job, serving my family, serving my tribe. Where I'm asked to go, I go. And while I appreciate the connections we make, it only makes doing that duty more difficult. So the separation makes the transition easier.
For you.
If I don't make you like me, it's easier for you too.
You do make that part easy.
Thus the beatings.
Yeah. But Charles, you're your own person. That's a thing that I've Aspen and Artie and even Jester been telling me, that you're allowed to make your own choices. That's something that you can do. Yeah, you have your uncle, and yes, he has a lot of power, but you have a lot of power too. You can say no. What if something were to happen here and you had the opportunity to change it? You were the guy that was to be relied on for it, and you're no longer here because you became the staple. You became something here. And now you're gone.
If I was taken away, it's because where I was sent was more important. It's because where I was sent needed me more.
Who does your uncle take orders from?
My uncle doesn't take orders anymore. He gives orders. He used to take orders from the king, but the king is no longer in the position to give orders. His vision, his strength has faltered, unfortunately. We do our best to honor his name, but his strength can no longer be relied upon. If anything, my uncle takes orders from the Falcon.
And if the Falcon told you to do something against your uncle, would you do it? Or are you going to listen to your uncle?
If the Falcon came to me, I would have to assume it was for a very good reason, for I am no theurge.
It's weird when spirits come to us.
Indeed.
So you'd say a spirit telling you something is pretty important. Like if they're coming to an Arun, it's a pretty big deal.
I would look at it very skeptically. A spirit to come directly to an Arun. That is something to look at with skepticism. Spirits play very tricky games.
Yeah.
They like to manipulate, and they know that we are easily manipulated.
All right. Charles, you told me a secret. So can I tell you, and you can't tell anyone?
If you wish.
A spirit came to me and gave me a kind of a warning that here in the future, now I don't know how near or far this is, but within enough time to need to give me a warning that I'm going to have to make a choice that it's going to end up costing my life to save others. I know that you take orders from your uncle. But this place, if I go, there will be no Arun left. Our job is to protect, be first ones in, last ones out, make sure everyone else gets out. And I have heard that sometimes sacrifices need to be made, but part of me just that's a hard thing for me to let go of someone else taking the spot of sacrifice when I have an opportunity to step in. If that goes through, and Arun will need to be here, one that can do my job. And you said if I messed up, you'd take my spot, but if I'm not here, I need you to take my spot. It's not whether I want you to or not, it's if I'm not here, someone needs to, and that would be you.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, a spirit came to you telling you you're going to die.
Possibility of it, yes.
Or
Someone else. That's close.
and no possibility of neither.
Nope, one or the other.
And you believed them.
I have no reason really to doubt this one. They've come to me several times and helped me when I've asked, and everything they've said had been truthful thus far. I have no reason to doubt what they've said.
Have you already forgotten what I just said about spirits in a room?
No, I know what you said about them being tricky, and that they know that we're easily swayed.
If you truly believe this fate is unavoidable, if you truly believe that your sacrifice is necessary, truly necessary and not foolhardy, at the very least, I can stay until Aspen believes a new Arun can lead.
Yeah, that's fair.
But don't take the word of spirits to heart. If you can defy them, especially when it comes to prophecy, do so. They may have words, but we have strength. As you said, you stood against the storm and survived. You were stronger than the wind. You were stronger than the rain.
You're right. I didn't make it out of that. But if I do go, just take it a little bit easier on them than you do me. Just a little bit. You can beat on Lucas a little bit harder, but the rest of them, you can take it easy on.
I will do what needs to be done.
Well, thank you for at least considering staying till another one can stand in. And who knows, maybe nothing will happen and you'll just be stuck with me forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
No, but if I end up beating you once, I'll last with you forever. I just gotta do it once. I haven't done it yet, but one time.
If you've beaten me once, it means I've done my job and I'm free to leave.
I'll keep that in mind.
Shall we?
Yeah, I saw you dressed down this time. Smart. Tired of buying suits?
Tired of getting your blood on me?
I'll try and hold back, and at that point, gonna swing at him.
And with that, you proceed to spar. And we transition to our final scene of the first act. Aspen, as was mentioned in the introduction, Matthias put some questions in your mind. Questions about this new cairn, questions about the Stargazers, questions about Eliza's true intentions, motivations, and where she gets her inspiration from. So, it's time for some answers. Because with a sacrifice looming, and with the current frontrunner for sacrifice being your entire legacy as a sept, as a leader, might be good to get some clarity, some closure on this decision, as this may be the first real major decision as sept leader that you have to make. You've made a lot of decisions along the way, but this is going to be a big one. But is it the right one? Or could it be one of the biggest mistakes you make? One that is sung in songs as a grievous error. Only time will tell. Where would you ask Eliza to meet, as you are the sept leader?
I would ask Eliza if she would come with me to the general area that Aiden had told us where the cairn would be, as she would know where it is, because she's got some knowledge about it.
Okay. Certainly. So, taking Regina, as Eliza doesn't have a car and she's not exactly borrowing the truck from her neighbor in the trailer park anymore, you drive Regina out to the fields and forests outside of Tampa, near the state park. Once you arrive, pulling off the road, Eliza climbs out of the Jeep and changes into her lupus form before going off into the trees, waiting, of course, for you to catch up, making sure that you don't get left far behind. But she keeps a happy trot as she makes her way through the trees, letting her tongue loll out of her mouth as she just looks around, kind of in awe and wonderment, enjoying the stroll through the forest, the sun kind of breaking through the leaves overhead. Still a little humid, but the air is starting to cool down as fall is setting in. Winter on its way, although winter in Florida is still like a summer in some regions in the north. It's like a Canadian summer. But it still feels much more comfortable to anybody who's lived in this area most of their life, which Eliza has. So she seems to be enjoying it, dipping through the shade, enjoying the small patches of sunlight on her fur. Eventually, you move your way towards the clearing, and the clearing is illuminated in sun, seeming to glow and radiate. And here is where she stops, finding a nice patch of shade. And as she sits in the shade on a small bed of moss. She shifts back into her Hamid form and she's sitting cross-legged on the bed of moss, barefoot. She just looks to you and pats some of the moss next to her.
Change back to Hamid, sit next to her. Take off my shoes.
It's nice, isn't it? Just being able to be away from it all for a little bit.
It's really pretty. A little calming, definitely. Being away from all the noise.
The calm before the storm. Never have words rung so true. What's on your mind, Aspen?
What isn't on my mind, Eliza? Um, well, I wanted to see this place. I wanted to get an idea of what it all looked like. But I also wanted to talk to you about, I guess you is the best way to put it.
Aren't you tired of talking about me, my troubles, my struggles, the sacrifices you've had to make on my behalf?
Absolutely not. Anything to get the spotlight off of myself would be great.
Oh, my dear, you'll never be able to shrug off that spotlight. You chose to lead. That's going to follow you everywhere you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning. Um, I guess one thing that we've never really talked about before is why you are a stargazer and why you chose that.
Well, I can't say I chose it as much as it chose me, as much as it was we belong together. It's just what felt right. Why did you choose to be a Silver Fang? Why did the Falcon choose you? It's just kind of our calling. It's what we're meant to be. I think most people had me pegged for a Children of Gaia, but my head's always been in the stars. And I never did do too well with a rigid and orderly way of thinking. I think it's the Southerner in me. A little bit of rebellion, but not so much as to wander with Gorgon.
Makes sense. Why? What is the struggle with your tribe and the nation as a whole?
The nation doesn't. It's really hard to define. The nation is very rigid in their way of thinking, very strict in their way of thinking. They believe in a certain uniformity. They believe in rules and restrictions, codes, ethics. And to a certain degree, they're not wrong. You need that. We all have this fire in us that if it's let out of control, you fall into the worm or into running off the path like Fenris. You know, you fall into harmful ways like the Impergium. We must learn from our past, certainly. But we're also part animal. We have to have instinct. You can't cage an animal, not fully. Animals fight. they bicker. Putting restrictions and rules on animals is going to cause them to fight harder with each other. It's going to cause them to build resentment. And we're part spirit too. And spirits also are not meant to be caged. Spirits flow free. They move. It's a difficult thing. I know this. And working amongst humans, ever evolving, ever more knowledgeable, makes it even more difficult. And we are fighting a war. I don't envy those in power. I don't envy those in command. I would never call myself fit to lead. That's why I don't. I advise those who are foolish enough to take up that mantle. And she gives a smile and reaches up to kind of touch your cheek. You know you can never truly rid Gaia of the worm, not entirely, right? The worm is a necessary part of it just as much as the weaver and the wild. It's part of the balance.
I understand that.
Fenris gets it wrong because they believe that if you are not fully committed to destroying the worm in its entirety, you're with it. If you're not willing to burn through every obstacle that stands in the way, even humans, you're a part of it. You're in league with it. That's why they think the nation is a problem. They believe they're so dedicated to the fight that they've lost sight of what the fight's for. Restoring balance, not just eradicating anything that's even slightly in league or in touch or affected by the worm. Truthfully, the Stargazers stepped away from the fight because we believe that the nation lost sight of what the fight's even about anymore. And we believe they've lost how to fight the fight. We believe they're doing it wrong. Now I've stayed close enough to it so I can keep eyes on it, sure, but also so that I can help adjust the course of the fight. Gingerly, delicately, because I believe the fight must still happen. I believe that it still has to take place. And truthfully, any progress is progress. There are those of my cousins that walk away entirely and are just free to pursue traversing the Umbra, exploring, whose heads are so far in the clouds that they don't have feet on the ground. Also, the Hirano kind of took me out of it for a while, so that grounds you a bit. But
That's fair.
I also know that we are still family, all of us. And I don't give up on family. Family's very important to me, if you couldn't tell.
I was told not to trust you.
Maybe you shouldn't. I hope I've done enough to earn your trust by now, but my ways are not what the nation would view as worthwhile, practical. They definitely don't fall within your edicts or codes, within your litany.
They mentioned something about your patron, that you don't know what your patron is.
They don't know what my patron is.
But you do.
Yes.
Well, I think that's all I need to know. I'm not gonna pry. That's between you and your patron. I was just wondering. People tend to like to give me, their 2 cents and then leave it up to me to fill in the spaces. Seems to be my lot here.
I can't say they'd lack what my patron is.
You mind if I ask why?
Because they don't lack things they don't understand.
Are you allowed to talk about your patron? Is that something between you and your tribe?
Unfortunately, my dear, this is one of those things that I couldn't tell you even if I wanted to. And believe me, I wish there were no secrets between us. But you can trust me on this. There is nothing ever that I would ever want to do to hurt you. Nothing that I would ever keep from you for the purposes of hurting you.
I know that. I know that. I don't think I know that. I know that. It's just so much has happened.
So much, and so much more to come. This is something you need not burden yourself with.
This place, all of this here. You knew about it before,
I did.
and right. You're confident in that?
As confident as I've been in anything.
Do you think it could be done like a regular cairn, or do you think it really needs this right for it to have what it needs?
I believe you could open a regular can here, sure. I believe it would operate as a regular can would, but I think if you did that, it could never be what it could be ever again. That is why I never told any others of it. That is why it has been a secret, a safe place, a sacred place, an ancient place. It is a place of great power, but it's a place I have protected for a very long time because I did not want what it is to be lost.
And you're the only one that can do this, right?
I'm sure there are others that could. I don't know who or where they are. Probably around similar places of power out in the world, but I am one of the last, yes.
Okay. And I know I'm asking a lot of questions. I guess, want to be sure. You're 100% in with us with this?
If I wasn't, I wouldn't have told you of the place. I had my reservations about the Sept before. Even though I loved Joseph Blackrock with my entire heart, he gave me my son. There were others in that Sept. Others that he considered brothers. Others he walked with, considered family. Others I would never have shown this place to. Others I could not trust. So I had to keep this secret, even from him, just as he kept me a secret from them. Sometimes something can be so very special that you want it just for yourself, even if it would make a world of difference to everyone else. But I have seen you. I have seen Aiden. I have seen Jester. And I have seen Lucas more clearly than I think even you have. And Artie. Sweet Artie. I've seen him too. Even from afar. Even when I didn't have the eyes to see. If there was anyone worthy of inheriting this place, I believe it should be you. And even if it were to fall dormant again, long after we've all passed, we will one day pass the knowledge on to others that we believe are worthy to awaken it again, just as it was passed on to me.
And you think we could keep it for a while?
Where there's a will, there's a way. And you have shown a great deal of will, Aspen Weiss. You have done incredible things in a short period of time. In just a year, you have struck great victories against the leeches that your predecessors had not. You have done what no one in 10 years before you had even attempted to do. What the rest of the nation was unwilling to even try to do. So if anyone has a chance of keeping such a place, my bets would be on you.
It's a lot of pressure.
Well, worst comes to worst, you're never leaving it.
That's true. I could just be around to, see my failure every day.
Don't think of it as a failure. We do whatever we do to defend this place. There is no greater commitment to the cause than swearing an oath you can never fail at. We as Guru, we're kind of forced into this line of duty, but it does end when we fall. Our service ends and we pass on. We move on either beyond the veil or we become spirits, or some just disappear. But this oath never ends. If anything, you will fight for Gaia until there is no fight. You will do what no guru is capable of doing. So there is no failure unless Gaia truly falls, unless Gaia truly fails, in which case everyone else failed too. No Matthias Morning Kill. No King Albrecht. No Black Furies, Red Talons, Nation, Fenris, Black Spiral Dances. None of them will have succeeded. All of them will have failed. Before you will have failed.
I guess we're doing this, and you're gonna be stuck with us for a very long time.
I can think of worse fates.
And, we'll have to talk to some spirits to make sure Wi-Fi is extra, extra good out here.
But that's going to be an interesting conversation.
We'll get together, we'll find something, something they like. That's what spirits do, right? They like things, you beseech them, they talk in riddles, and then that's the gist, right?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
Now let's just enjoy this time together. You'll never feel as close to her as you do here, not even in the Umbra. She takes a deep breath and just lays back in the moss, spreading her arms out, letting her fingers bury deep into the moss, closing her eyes, and just breathing. Letting the earth envelop her. Letting the moment envelop her. What's going through Aspen's mind after this conversation?
She feels better, I think. I think knowing that she can kind of find a space that works for her in her own way, and she has like so many of these strong people around her to give her like the opinions, but that she can forge her way the way she wants to, I think is really in her mind. So for the first time, she's just gonna kind of watch Eliza really relax. Aspen's gonna adjust herself, kind of uncomfortable, and then eventually lay down very slowly and just take a deep breath and just relax for just a couple of minutes.
So as you try to find a moment's peace, you do the best you can to enjoy the moment. But that's a really difficult thing for a leader to do. Because you know, more than anyone, thunder is on the horizon. We'll be back in just a few minutes with part 2 of tonight's story. See you soon. Welcome back. In the first half, Lucas and Artie went to meet with Jester to discuss plans for this underground takeover that Lucas has planned to assert some control for Aspen in the fallout after the Camarilla is toppled. However, the Jester they found wasn't the Jester they were expecting. It seems that something isn't quite right with Jester, and there is some suspicion that in the aftermath of the execution of Leon, perhaps Ryder may have asserted some control in Jester's mind. Aiden had a conversation with Charles in which he expressed some concern that if the sacrifice is called for, the pack will be without an Arun, and a desire for Charles to step in if that need arises. Charles agreed on the condition that he would only stay as long as was necessary until Aspen found an Arun that she saw fit to take the position within the pack, but advised Aiden that spirits shouldn't be trusted when it comes to matters of fate, when it comes to addressing Arun, and that if there is an option to defy spirits when it comes to matters of sacrifice and fate, he advised him to do so. And finally, Aspen spoke to Eliza, asking her questions of what it was to be a Stargazer, why they left the nation, what her patron was, or at least could her patron be trusted, and did she know what her patron was? And more information about this interesting piece of property, this little bit of land, this sacred site, and what this rite would entail, this binding of spirit, and this oath that would be taken once this sacred place became a cairn. Now, in the second half, a few days have passed, and the deadline nears. The pack gathers to discuss the final sacrifice to the storm, what this decision entails, what the storm will be appeased by, if it will be appeased. So Aspen, where are you calling this meeting together?
I think it will be at the storage unit where we sat out the storm. Feels a little poetic, so might as well do it there.
Okay. So as you gather together at Greer's, at the storage unit, where all the RVs are currently stored, where most of you, or at least several of you, have been living for the most part through a good portion of this time, although really, actually none of you have been living there, because I assume Aiden has been staying with Aspen and Artie. Jester hasn't stayed there ever since that night. It's really just been Eliza and Chloe that have been staying there, in actuality. And Lucas has his own place, so yeah, nobody's really stayed there for a while. But yeah, gathering together at Greer's. Everyone is in attendance. Even Charles has shown up for this meeting. So as you all gather, it's probably after dark, after the closing of the actual complex, so that there's no onlookers to witness this conversation, to overhear any weird talk of spirits and sacrifices. But the scene is yours, Aspen, as you call things to order.
Welcome back together, everybody. I know it's been a hectic couple weeks. Lots of things to talk about. A lot of really serious things to talk about, honestly. How is everyone? I guess we'll start with that.
Present.
It's not as stinking hot around here anymore, so doing a little bit better on that front.
Give it time. He'll heat back up sooner
I'm
than you
so
think.
excited. So
Mhm.
excited.
It's great.
Yeah.
Could be better.
satisfied now that the loose end has been tied up, Charles says.
Yes, so everybody is aware. Leon has been taken care of as far as that goes. And Jester chose to take care of that on her own. So. Well,
You waiting for
anyways,
a speech?
no.
Okay.
We did have a few things to discuss about Lucas's plan for what we're going to be doing moving forward once the leech situation is taken care of. And I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page with that. Yes.
Artie.
Yeah, I think.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're. I think we have a plan. I think we have a solid starting point. It's not something that's going to happen fast. But yeah, I think we're all on board.
Has there been anything discussed as far as how that's going to work?
Yeah, in a way. We're gonna try to get a foothold, some ideas on where to start. The bikers are gonna hopefully get us pointed in the right direction, but there are concerns there about getting our own house in order on that end before we start down that road. Uh, you know, diligently observed by Artie, and some good suggestions there. So Jester's gonna shore that up, and then we're gonna move forward.
Good, good. Sounds great. I'm glad you guys are getting that started now so that we're on the ball when we get everything kind of tightened up on the leech's side. There was the big thing, the sacrifice to the storm. Before we get into that, how is everyone feeling about the potential for the other cairn and the right?
Seems a bit weird to me. I mean, don't even know these things. Spirits. Giving up what bit of happiness we got? Seems a bit weird.
It's not a terrible observation. I mean, tying yourself to something else beyond your expiration date is awfully strange, isn't it?
Depends on what you're tying yourself to and why.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Perhaps I missed something. I have to admit I've been absent for a lot of conversations recently. Would anyone care to fill me in?
Dealing
You're
with
gonna
this.
go ahead.
We dealt with the storm, got that squared away, but the looming problem is that we have to sacrifice something of the Weaver, specifically regarding us, to the storm to appease it and give it what it needs to move forward without giving us too much of a problem. We've discussed the potential of the cairn being one of the potentials that we could sacrifice, which was something we had all discussed and we were mostly on the same page. But others' suggestions have been brought up to me that I wanted to bring up, but Do you have any questions, Charles, about all of that?
You intend to sacrifice your cairn to the storm.
That was one of our stronger options, yes.
The cairn that many guru from all over the country came together to build. The cairn that you spent many, many months bringing together, building. The
Again, as
only
I said,
cairn in the area.
again, as I said, it was a option, a strong option that we had. We are between a rock and a hard place when it comes to upsetting a storm spirit that could come down on us every year for the next several years if we don't make the right choice. So it's a choice that we need to think long and hard about. So yes, that was on the table. Aiden found a potential cairn for us to move to.
It would take a great deal of time to open again. You would need to go through the process of establishing, finding a number of guru to gather a theurge to perform the rite again. It would take time, a great deal of time.
We have an opportunity to move to that cairn, get that set up. So that's something we're looking into as a pack. It would be nice if you were around more. We could exchange these informations, but as of right now, I can give you what we have in short cliff notes. And then we could maybe potentially talk about what you've been up to as far as on your side, so we have a mutual understanding of what each of us have been doing.
Understood.
Okay, so the cairn is on the table. I did get a suggestion recently of the potential of Writer's Clave being a sacrifice.
Hell no. Not after what I went through, what he went through. No.
Okay, we were gonna discuss it, but I do believe that both of them have a lot of significance. I would think also to Ryder as well, of this was his cairn before, that was his clave before. I understand there's a lot of history between both of them, and they have a lot of significance to all of us. I just think it would be putting us at a disadvantage if I didn't bring up all possible options.
Why do we have to sacrifice anything? I mean, what's the spirit gonna do? Bring storms? That happens every year.
It's going to be worse.
Is it gonna be worse than 2004?
Well, I mean, 2004 was 6 storms in the state. This was 2 direct hits to this area, something that hasn't happened in over a century. And they wrecked all the way up to Tennessee. That's unprecedented. It was pretty bad, Jester. Like, it was historic. And it's going to take years for they wiped an entire city out of existence up in the mountains. It's gone.
Also, I believe, Jester, the cairn was your idea.
I mean, given the decision, I choose the cairn. Cairn's just a place. The sept is the Garu in it.
Okay.
But this legacy was passed on by my mentor. The man was like a father to me.
Well, I mean, half of it was passed on to you.
Jester. Yes.
Aspen.
Not your mentor. Are we feeling okay?
Nah. Not right now. I'm freaking pissed off that you asked me to sacrifice this.
She didn't ask you, it was brought up as a possibility. She could.
Which is asking me.
She could ask you. Would that make it easier?
I mean, she asked me to kill Leon, right?
Do you want to discuss this further, or do you want to be confrontational?
I vote no.
Eliza, who's been very quiet this entire time watching Jester, finally kind of clears her throat. I know it's a difficult thing. Having to part with things that we've held very dear for a long time. Things that we've invested in. Saying goodbye to the past is a hard thing. Letting go is a hard thing. We protect the things we care about, even the things we didn't know we cared about. I know you're protecting her, and I thank you for that. She must be hurting something dear.
I can't reach her. She's retreated so deep. I can't reach her.
But she's there.
Somewhere. This is the only option I had. Otherwise, the Banes would have come.
You know you can't stay there forever, Ryder.
Do you have a better option?
Not for the moment. But she has to come out eventually. I can give her time, but only a little.
I'm just gonna look over to Eliza. How do you even fix something like this?
She is like I was, to a certain degree. Not fully, not entirely, but she is hurting spiritually. Probably in the early stages of what I was going through. She needs time. She needs healing of a certain sort. I can help her, but she needs to want to be helped. She needs to come forward a little bit. Right now, she's probably frozen of a sort. Kind of like a, how do they call it? A catatonic. She killed someone dear to her. Probably more so than even... I hate to put you in this mind frame, Aspen, but if you had to And she looks towards Artie. Imagine how you'd be. Well, as a guru, this makes you very, very... It could have gone one of two ways. She could have lashed outward, become very violent, or she could have retreated inward, which she did. Unfortunately, and lucky for her, she's had a spirit of a sort hanging around her. One who is willing to step in and fill the void left behind. Before a Bane could. I assume you remember when you were opening the can, the Banes that were floating around, trying to find their way in. If one had been close enough at the time, it could have taken over. It would have had an ample space to. Lucky for her, she had a shield, and has one currently. Now, I could force him out, but I think that that would be ill-advised at the moment. However, if she does not start to find her way back soon, I will have to go in after her. Because he cannot stay there forever.
Kid's broke. I just said what she said shorter.
Okay, Ryder, I'm gonna need you to shut up for a minute, okay?
Sure.
Gonna look over at Jester, who is Ryder. Jester, if you're in there, you can hear me. We all care about you very much. We love you very much, and we're gonna make these decisions. I would love to have you here, so I have your opinion, but I understand if you're not in a place to do that. And I will do my best to do what you would want me to do. But we miss you, and we all just hope you're okay.
So, bearing that all in mind, you have to consider who you're dealing with when speaking with her over the next few days. Him, them. Their opinion might be slightly colored on issues.
But wonderful.
How
Not-
about this? She broke because she sacrificed someone she cared about. Now you're asking, or maybe not asking, but presenting that she give up something else. Does that seem fair to you?
No, it doesn't, Ryder. Thank you for your opinion. I have to bring up what I need to bring up to my pack so that all the options are on the table. I don't want to sacrifice the clave. I really do not. But if as a pack we decide that that's what's best, then that's what we need to do. And those are the choices that need to be made. I am against it, but I want to know everybody else's opinion, preferably, Ryder, not yours.
Also, if you sacrifice this can, you are sacrificing Grandmother Willow and whatever good relation she has with the spirits of the area, and she is a well-revered spirit of the area. That is some goodwill that is going to be lost in this process. You worked very hard to endear her to you, and she was not on good terms with Ashspeaker. That was a long road to get her back. Now, I don't know what the storm will do with her. She is a spirit of the wild. He may just let her go. But she is bound to that can. And if he is going to destroy it, which is likely the case. It will be destruction of a spiritual nature, probably not a physical one, because that would be hard to explain. She will likely be destroyed with it. And that will be felt on a spiritual level in the area, meaning that the spirits will know what caused that, and they will not be pleased. You will have a hard time endearing yourself to a lot of the local spirits for quite some time. It can be done. I'm just informing you it will take a while, and it will be a hard road back. She was beloved, is beloved.
With us being bound to the next place, would that put us in any good graces?
Of that place. That is a different thing entirely, you have to understand. That place is sacred in its own right, and it is sacred to Gaia, but the spirits are of the triad. They are of their own make. They are of the wild, or the weaver, or the worm separately. They have their own agendas. Yes, they come from Gaia in their own ways, but they work of their own creation. They work of their own agenda. They don't necessarily work in harmony with Gaia.
Okay. We are basically out of time on this decision. So whatever we decide right now is what needs to happen.
I vote the Cairn personally.
Lucas?
Pragmatically, we stand to do nothing but lose by keeping the cairn. Pragmatically, I feel that it is a bad idea to lose another clave wielder. Pragmatically, it is a sacrifice that has to be fit a greater spirit than we have dealt with before. I have a degree of faith that Grandmother Willow will not be utterly annihilated, because that's just not what I believe happens. I think that everything is cyclical, that everything is a circle. So even if she's not the way she was before, pieces and parts of her will be redistributed into the whole and brought back some other way. So I choose the cairn.
Artie?
I think that it's a difficult thing. Claves can be reforged. New ones can be made. This pack only truly exists because we came together to make that cairn. That cairn is our history. It's kind of the heartbeat that put us together. It's the forge that built us. We made a lot of bonds with a lot of other cairns because of that cairn. There's a lot of other Guru tied to that cairn, not just us. We destroy it, we might be destroying the ties we have to them because they invested a part of their spirit into that cairn too. All those people we called here, all those allies, we might be sacrificing those too. We might truly be on our own after this. Now, is that new? Not really. We've kind of been on our own this whole time, but we called in a lot of favors for this, and if they find out that we threw it away, for a good reason or not, they might not see it the way we see it. Might be like we shit in their cereal. We got to think of it politically too. And what we're about to do with this new cairn, and he looks over at Charles, it's gonna raise some hackles politically, and might make some enemies. And when we succeed, it's going to open up some real estate opportunities for those who are looking to expand. And if they see that we aren't well liked and they see we don't have a lot of friends, they might view us as something that can be taken out to expand. I hate to say it, but I think we have to consider politically how this is going to look on a grander scale. Fenris was fine when they were the only threat. But Fenris and the nation, not to mention whatever the fuck else is out there, I vote Regina.
We've already said no. We've
don't
already
care.
put that out there. We're not doing that.
Cast my vote.
Aiden,
Yeah.
any more thoughts?
I thought we were in agreement that Regina was never an option due to the fact that the connection that we all have, especially you, Artie, and the sacrifices she's done for us.
She'll return to the wild. She's of the Weaver. She served me well. I don't know what else to do that isn't going to bite us in the ass.
And
We
you think
sacrifice the clave, we use a clave wielder. We sacrifice the cairn, we possibly lose the nation. We possibly lose the spirits. We sacrifice Regina. We lose a car. And I lose my best friend. It's gonna hurt, but I'll get over it eventually.
There's enough of that going around lately.
Everyone else has sacrificed lately but me. It's time I take one for the team. It's been a while. Everyone else has lost someone recently. Rachel and Leon and Stone.
It's not a contest, man.
No, but it's a pack and we have to share the burden. They want something that'll mean something to us, something that is unquestionably going to hurt. They can't argue with this. If they
You're
don't
right.
take this, then I will fucking fight them every year. I'll go out to that beach and fight them myself. Then that's right. Then fucking Ryder's right. Let's just fight them every year.
Artie. Artie makes a good point. We all need to share the burden. Getting rid of the clave. Jester takes that burden on herself. Getting rid of Regina, sure, it'll hurt us all. Artie takes that burden on himself. We sacrifice the cairn, we all take that burden, we all work together to build it. We all lose something. And yes, politically, that puts us in a really bad place. We have another cairn. Tactically, that other cairn is smarter, is better, is more secure, is closer to the wilds. It's better. And if they disagree, they're not here fighting the fight with us. We are, all
They
of us
might
together.
be. They're gonna come as soon as the threat is gone. And we might not have the power to stop them.
Well, we sure as shit will. I'll make sure of that.
We've done it this long. We've done it this long. We've lost. And we've always come back. Every time. Every time we've all stuck together. We've all been here together. And we're still doing it. We're not losing Regina, Artie, and we're not losing the clave, Jester. We're losing the cairn, because that's something we all sacrifice together. And we're doing it together. The loss will be together, and that I stand on. That's the choice. It's the cairn. No more discussing it. That's what it is.
Done.
Okay.
Eliza. Very well. And that's where we should do it. We'll go there. I will cast the rat for you to cross over. Aspen, I believe you know the rat to call forth to a spirit. You have already contacted them once. I believe if you use the name Storm, they will answer. Very few others will be dissuaded by your meaning, or will be confused by your meaning. They will come. Hopefully, they will be satisfied with your offering. And they will do what they need to do. On one other piece of business, Charles says, before we go running off to sacrifice a cairn. I went by the campground. The cult is gone. Thought it'd be best to check in, as most of the mobile homes and trailer parks were evacuated because of the storms. Apparently they picked up and left. I will keep looking around to see where they've gone, or if they've stayed in the area, but there was no sign of them. Thought you'd want to know.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for checking on that for us.
I also think it would be best if I abstained from this practice you're about to do.
Understandable. I do. Yes, Ryder.
Should I abstain too? I mean, I'm not good at talking.
Just be there and just don't say anything. Just
Fine.
don't say anything. We have one more thing to discuss, and then we have to move on with this and just give the storm a sacrifice. With the leeches coming up and us doing the best we can to figure that all out, and Bloody Mary, we had a few other things that we had the potential of pursuing, and now it seems like Charles has let us know that the cult is gone, so we're no longer working with them. Not that we made much contact with them as recently. But there were some other things. There's Spud and the potential holy water. There's the Piney Point lead that they gave us, the cult, before they up and left. And there was the support group that Artie and I had gone to. It's just that one seems a little hard to pursue, being right in the belly of the beast, as it were. Are there any of those that we want to continue to pursue, and what would be the best course of option?
Piney Point's mostly a dead end. For now. Not to stir any more pots, because obviously we're running out of spoons. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I don't know how many parties we have at this gathering yet. New party took residence there, taken residence there, has taken residence there, and seems to be doing some not Piney Point stuff, not industrial stuff. So I don't believe we're faced with a threat from that angle at the moment. I don't consider greenhouses and plants threats, but that's a tomorrow problem. We discussed this last time, Aspen. It's a future you problem that we'll discuss at a later date, because I'm not entirely sure who's backing that organization. It's working out of there now. We'll get to it.
Perfect. Okay, I just wanted to see where we were on the Piney Point situation and see if there was anything there. There is Spud in the holy water.
I looked into that online group that I was looking into. Not really thinking that's a lead worth chasing down, but there are some other possibilities. Weirdly enough, I've seen some forums talking about miracles, like a faith healer type thing. Now, not the crazy like faith hospital out in Orlando where, you know, you send your kids and they end up dying type deal, but like some pretty interesting stuff. I think I want to take a look further into that. Some people doing some real good work, actual good work for people who actually need it. Might be worth going for a visit. Don't know if anybody here has any affliction to that kind of thing, but might be something worth looking at if anybody's interested.
Good. We'll delve into that a little bit more after we do some looking into that, you and I, Artie. But that's the business I've had. I would ask about spirit business with Jester, but I'll save that for a later date. Anything else?
I think I can speak on that on her behalf. She had me reach out to some spirits to see if they could scout out. She had me call upon the rat spirit, rather powerful patron spirit, spirit of the bone gnawers. Don't know if anybody's familiar. Well, he responded, surprisingly. She had a little chat with him. Went fairly well. She can be very persuasive with that silver tongue of hers when she needs to be. He's gone off looking. Haven't heard back yet, but he goes on his own timetable. If anyone's going to find out anything about her, it's going to be him. And I have a feeling when he does find something, he'll be back, but he'll probably want to talk to her specifically. When you deal with Rat, he only deals with the one he dealt with, not with just anyone. So, but I do know that a deal was struck, but I don't know the conditions. I was kind of indisposed, being a little feral at the time. So, she looks over towards Ryder. When you're done being custodian, Jester, we'll need to take care of that. But until then, know that I'm here for you, my dear, and I will be ready to help you when you are ready for help. I love you like you're my daughter, and I know you're hurting, and I am here to mend you and to walk you through it. If anyone knows anything about loss, especially because of your own actions. When you're ready, my dear. By your leave.
Good. Then I guess there's nothing else to discuss. We get to the Umbra and we talk to the storm.
So everyone gathers up in their variety of vehicles. Jester hops on the motorcycle. Artie, Aspen climb in Regina with Eliza. Aiden and Lucas climb in Lucas's truck. Charles takes the sedan but does not go towards the cairn, deciding to sit this one out because of his own personal objections. But you make your way towards the Memorial Gardens. And when you arrive, the cairn is as it's always been, but driving through the gates and up the driveway, there is definitely a more morose feeling in the air, despite the fact that it is a cemetery. It's more morose than it has ever been because there is a strange, heavy finality, a weird kind of funereal quality to it, even for a cemetery. A place that's felt so lively with the feelings of the spirits in the air and the life that you've brought to it ever since it's awakened. There's definitely a doom and gloom with what's to come, with what you're about to do. But you find yourselves parking at the base of Grandmother Willow, the center of power. As you climb out, Eliza begins the rite of shadow passage. You all join in to the rite, taking up the chant, and eventually make the passage over. As you do, you find yourself in the Umbra, at the base of the tree, its limbs stretching out into the horizon. But rather than the kind of symphony of branches rustling in the wind that's usually accompanied in the Umbra, everything is deathly quiet and still. Grandmother Willow doesn't move, doesn't speak. The white wolf that's usually found sitting at the base of the tree cannot be found or seen. At first, you're not even sure that you crossed over, but the ethereal quality to the Umbra is unmistakable. The fields stretch on beyond the horizon. What normally shows buildings nearby or fences that you can see when you're not in the Umbra just stretches on endlessly. You're here, but it feels more dead than ever. The scene is yours.
I have to call on the spirit. Usually, a bit of something enticing them to come forth. I think if that's necessary, maybe Aiden, you could help with some wind stuff while I do this, right?
I can give it a shot.
So I'm gonna gather everybody together with Aiden there just in case for some lacerating wind inspiration, just in case. And I will call forth to the storm.
Okay.
And I will look up to the sky and just say, Storm, we've come with our sacrificial offering. We beseech you.
Okay. And what's the roll for that?
Is a persuasion and honor versus power.
Okay. Go ahead and make the roll.
This is a gift, right? Or is it a right?
It is a right, so
Okay. So we're all participating. Just want to check.
Yes, you can add a rage dice for every other individual.
is 6.
Got that lacerating wind also.
No, that's your participation. Like that's
Got
the
it.
rage dice you're offering in.
Sweet.
So as you call forth the winds of the north wind, Aspen offering up her voice, the others joining in with a call or a howl. The clouds start to form overhead, thunder rumbles in the distance, and the storm begins. Lightning crackles. Rain starts to pour off in the distance. As the clouds roll in, they're even more impressive and terrifying in the Umbra. darkens the sky, blotting out the stars and the moon overhead, making it more overcast, more dark, more treacherous, until it blots out everything above, even the branches of Grandmother Willow, hanging low, covering everything, until it seems like you could almost reach up and grab a handful of the clouds. That's how low they hang. You have called.
We have made our decision for our sacrifice to you, Storm.
And
We as a pack have decided that you may take the Memorial Gardens, our cairn.
the gardens. You would sacrifice your home.
We have decided that you needed a worthy sacrifice, and a sacrifice from all of us that meant something to show that we are our apologies to you. And we've decided that our home would be the best way to show you that we take this very seriously and we take you very seriously.
You must be truly desperate.
Not desperate. We just understand your power, and we thought we needed to bring something worthy to you.
Its bones are of the Weaver, yes. But its heart is of the Wild.
It is of the Weaver. It is more than you've asked for. Not only is it of the Weaver, yes, it is also of the Wilds, but it is also of our hearts. We've put a lot into building that up to what it is, and we are giving it to you wholeheartedly as our sacrifice. So not only is it the Weaver, not only is it the Wild, but it is part of the Gru as well. Here.
It could destroy more than you intend to. Is that something you're willing to do?
We understand the sacrifices that come with giving up what we've given up. We understand that.
I'm not sure that you do. But if that is your wish, make a charisma or manipulation and persuasion roll.
I can add my favor, yes?
Yeah, for sure.
That is 6 again.
it come down. The winds and the clouds start to cyclone overhead, pulling and coiling over each other. Almost immediately, you start to hear the branches up in the clouds start to creak. And then they start to crack. Out in the distance, you start to see lights sparking and breaking, and you hear glass shattering, and these motes of light start to just rip up out of the ground and coil up into the wind. Anybody who wants to can make an intelligence and occult roll to try and determine what is actually happening. As the winds continue to coil, you can see at the edges of the grounds these kind of like webbed structures start to break apart. Even though they seemed like they were forever away, the web's starting to break and pull up, getting sucked up and consumed into the clouds. And even now and then you can see a little spider kind of go flying up with it into the clouds. Lucas, did you get any successes? 2 successes. So it's not much, but having been around, you know that one of the processes of building a cairn is that you create homes for spirits, little spirit dens. As this cairn is being destroyed, those spirit dens are being broken and destroyed, and the spirits within are being pulled up and released and sucked up into the storm. The continued cracking of branches causes branches to also break off and go twisting up into the storms. Limbs are now breaking free and going up into the storm. And a lightning bolt comes crashing down, hitting the tree, breaking off an entire large branch from the tree, causing it to just drop to the ground before being wrenched up into the sky. As this torrent of wind and destruction starts to tear the spiritual essence of Grandmother Willow apart, Eliza just weeps, tears rolling down her cheeks. More of these motes of light from all around the horizon break and go flying up into the storm. More of these spidery structures crack and break. Off in the direction of the crematorium, a large gout of flame explodes and goes sucking up in a torrent of fire, almost like a fiery tornado up into the clouds. It is haunting and horrifying, and it feels like it lasts for an eternity. Everyone make me a resolve and composure check, as this is a spiritually haunting experience. Okay. All right. Jester, since you are being protected by Ryder, and Ryder, after the fall of the first cairn, kinda never really forgave Grandmother Willow, you're kind of fine with this. So you take no umbrage with what's happening. Aspen, you take 1 point of aggravated willpower damage. Lucas and Aiden, you take 2 points of aggravated willpower damage. Those can only be healed by spending significant time with a touchstone or by fulfilling a conviction like truly and fully, like significantly upholding a conviction. By the time all is said and done, by the time the storm clears, this is a spiritual wasteland, a desert. There is no spiritual life here to be felt. All there are the clouds up above, lightning crawling across them. Our business is done. The clouds disperse, spreading out and moving away. When the storm is gone, Eliza composes herself once more and begins the rite of shadow passage. When you cross back over, the cemetery is fine, physically. Everything looks the way it was. The tree's there, but it feels like fall is really here because all the leaves are on the ground. And that is where our story comes to an end this evening. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. If you are enjoying these stories, you should follow St. Pete by following on all of the social media down below, and you should join us back here next week when Rage Across Tampa continues. Same bat time, same bat channel, Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching. If you like World of Darkness and you like St. Pete, come join us on our Discord server. The join link is listed down below in the description. You could come join us and be a part of our one-shots, or possibly join our tables, or just join our community and talk about the World of Darkness, as well as a bunch of other nerdy crap that we talk about on a regular basis. And go follow our incredible players. You can see their handles in the credits after the episode. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good evening, everyone.